Hey guys, and we are back for day 2 of our freshman year, and it's Friday. And I always get so excited for Friday because I get to sleep in tomorrow, right? Getting up at 5:30 is not any fun, but worth it during the week to teach all you guys. All right, so today is Friday, August 21st. Your agenda is to complete your warm up. Then we'll have a Nearpod activity for you to complete. And then we'll start our email etiquette presentation. At the end, you'll have one assignment in Google Classroom. Okay, our objective is students will get to know my teacher and classmates by discussing what they want to be when they grow up. Unfortunately, remote learners don't really get to discuss much with classmates unless we have a Google Meet. And during asynchronous learning, we aren't live, so we won't really get to discuss. Students will learn tips for writing professional emails by learning etiquette tips and distinguishing between professional writing versus unprofessional writing. So you're going to learn about how to write an email to your teacher. Your warm up today is to answer the following questions in the Google form. What do you want to be when you grow up? Will this job require college? Are you taking any classes at DHS to help prepare you for a future in this industry? Remember to use complete sentences and restate part of the question in your answer. When I grow up, I want to be. This job will or will not require college, and you can expand on that if you want. You can tell me how much college, what kind of college. It's up to you. You don't have to. I am or am not taking any classes at DHS to help prepare for a future in this industry. And then you can tell me which classes you are taking if you are. It's up to you. All right, so at this time, I want you to pause the video, go to the Google site, click warm up on under Friday, and do your warm up for today. Okay, and then when you're done, come back and press play. All right, so you should have completed your warm up, and I'll discuss a little bit. When I was your age, I wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer. Both of those jobs would require college and lots of it, right? At least 8 years each. And I didn't really take any classes my freshman year to prepare me for either of those, except maybe I took biology. But for the most part, it was all core classes, right? And we didn't do endorsements back then, so I didn't have any my only elective was, I think, choir. We only had 6 class periods. So all right, so you've done your warm-up. Now what you're going to do is go to Nearpod. So if you have a phone, you can download the Nearpod app because we are going to use it a few times this year. If you don't have your phone, you could go ahead and just open another tab and go to join.nearpod.com. And when it asks you for a code, put in the code TDWOX. Okay, so this assignment, you're going to answer 10 would you rather questions. Would you rather do this or this? And you just choose which one. This is kind of a fun get to know you assignment. And I will, if I can, post the poll results in Google Classroom so you can get to know your classmates and see what they also would or wouldn't rather do. All right, so at this time, pause your video and go do your Nearpod. All right, we are back, and I hope you had fun doing your Nearpod activity. I know that I will have tons of fun seeing what you guys would or would rather do or not do. Like, for instance, I would rather have a camera on my phone than and charge it only once a week than to not have a camera. And I also would rather have a unicorn than a dragon. Okay. I'm not like gonna play with fire. It's crazy. So it'll be cool getting to know you guys and know all these little things about you. Let's just get started. Today we're going to talk about email etiquette. With you guys being remote and the possibility of us going 100% remote, because of COVID interruptions in the future, it's really important that you guys know how to professionally email your teachers. So we're going to give you 18 tips that will help you know how to write an email. On Monday, we will finish going over email etiquette and we'll show you examples of good and bad emails and then practice writing emails. But for today, we're just going to go over the tips. So, a general set of expectations regarding how people should communicate when sending electronic mail. This is email etiquette. Why does it matter? What's the perk? You can see perk is in red and perk, yeah, snazzy. And I'm going to move this video. Um, you want to come across as someone who knows what they are talking about. That's professionalism. E for efficiency. Writing emails that are clear and eloquent will increase the effectiveness of your communication. R for respect. If you're writing an email, you're often making a request. You want your audience to respect you as a person. And C for common sense. An element of basic humanity is being kind to others. Angry, hateful email is counterintuitive to that. It's also not helpful at all. All right, so you want to consider your audience when you email. How might your style and tone be different when you're emailing a boss, a parent, a friend, or a pastor? Well, when I'm emailing my mom and dad or a friend, I'm going to be less formal. But if I'm emailing a boss or a pastor, I have to be professional, right? How to email a teacher. In your academic career, there will be many times you email a teacher. When doing so, make these next tips a priority. So tip number 1, use a professional email address. This means your Bronco Mail. Never email your teacher from a private email. Always use your Bronco Mail. This means that every time you go to email us, you want to go ahead and double check that you're under your Bronco Mail. Select a professional font. Use a clear print font. Avoid bright colors and highlighting. They're difficult to read. So when you open up your Bronco Mail and you go to start an email, the font that's already chosen is just fine. My advice to you is do not change the font. Number 3, include a clear, direct subject line. In the subject, you should have your name, the class period, and the topic. So this example is Molly Weller. We would say first period, not first hour, and then reading journal, or maybe yesterday's essay, or vocab chart. My grades, whatever your subject is, keep it short and sweet, 2 to 3 words. Begin with a professional salutation. So you should start with a greeting and follow it by your teacher's name. So a greeting would be like dear or good morning. Dear Ms. Cruz, good morning, good afternoon, Dr. Eplin. Okay, and then a comma afterwards, and then you'll go down. Make sure that when you are using in your salutation somebody's name that you spell it correctly. So if I say Dear Miss Rizzo, make sure that my last name is spelled Rizzo the correct way. This shows that you're thoughtful enough to take the time to double check the spelling of their name. Avoid exclamation points. They are not formal at all. Okay, we can use exclamation points when we're writing certain things, like maybe we're writing a novel or personal narrative or something, but when we're writing a professional email, we're not getting super excited and we're not shouting, so we just use periods only. Avoid using all caps because it makes you sound like you're yelling and nobody wants to be yelled at. Avoid sarcasm followed by winky faces or other emojis. So it's really hard to tell tone in an email. What you think is funny sarcasm might sound mean or passive aggressive. Emojis in general just aren't professional, so we shouldn't use them at all anyway. Do not email when you're angry. If the subject of your email is sensitive, it's best to discuss it in person, or for you guys, that would be in a Google Meet because you're remote. Words are read differently than they are heard, and you don't want to say something that you don't mean or will regret later. And you guys being students, you don't want to say something that could get you in trouble. So let's just make sure that before we write an email, if we're upset, we calm down first. Wait until you're calm and clear-headed, and then professionally and calmly, approach your teacher and ask the questions you have or make your complaints in a kind way. Avoid blaming and excuses. Take responsibility and ownership. So if I give you a failing grade, I did not just give you that grade, okay? Your work produced that grade. So you need to take ownership for that. Don't say, Miss, why did you give me a 50? I did my best. Okay, well, maybe you did do your best, but also maybe you didn't study enough, or maybe you didn't ask for help. So you need to take ownership. You earn the grade you get, right? Okay, so don't blame your pets, your parents, your teacher, your sibling, or the president. Just take responsibility. And if you fail, you always have a chance to redo for a passing grade. But again, that's your responsibility, right? Be clear and mention specifics. Your teacher has many students. So if you tell me something like today in class you handed back my paper, well, maybe today in class I handed back like 4 papers, right? So you might want to tell me which paper it was. I don't really need to know which class because your subject will tell me the class period. Also, I kind of get to know you and get to know which classes you're in anyway. I just need to know like which paper you're talking about. Oh, back to that one. Um, Maybe you have a question like, uh, if you're not understanding your assignment, like say you don't understand how to do it, don't just email me saying, I don't understand the assignment. I need to know what you don't understand. Do you not understand um, like a couple questions? Do you not understand like how to do your assignment? I need to know specifically what you don't understand. Saying I don't understand, it doesn't give me enough information to help you. I need to know which parts are kind of confusing or fuzzy for you, okay? Be concise. Say what you need to say in a few sentences or less. So don't repeat yourself and don't ramble on, and also don't go off topic. Avoid using the word you if at all possible. It could put the recipient on the defensive and it might sound like blaming. Um, Obviously, you can say, will you help me with this assignment? Um, but don't start every sentence with the word you. Include both your first name and last name in the signature block. So you need to start with a closing. See right here, it says sincerely, followed by your name, first and last. Proofread. Use complete sentences and proper grammar, no text speak. Okay, so you need to sound like you're talking to a boss when you talk to your teachers or the principal. Make sure that you're not, you're spelling out the word you, Y-O-U, instead of the letter U. You're spelling out the word to, T-O, instead of the number 2. Make sure to use complete sentences. Don't just throw words in there. Try to use commas and periods whenever you're supposed to. Proper capitalization. Include a compliment and or note of thankfulness. Compliments and gratuity or gratitude, I guess, make your audience more receptive to what you have to say, and they also help you come across as a kind person. Maybe just thank your teacher for reading your email. All right. Number 17, allow for response time. Allow your teacher at least 24 hours to reply. I have to teach 5 classes in person, and I also have my own kids, and I like to sleep, a little bit. So I'm not always just going to be able to reply any time of the day. Never email asking for something ASAP because it can sound kind of rude. My remote period is 4th period, so you can expect me to reply a lot then. I also have a conference period 3rd, and I might be able to check my email if I'm not busy doing other things. But that's kind of my time to make copies and to conference with parents if needed. And then also, I will send replies after school while I'm in class, but after 4 p.m. I won't. 4 p.m. is when I get my kids and I go home, and then we have dinner and I spend the evening with my family. But I'll try to get to you as soon as I can, definitely within 24 hours, and I won't reply on the weekend. Be aware of high and low register. So a high register tone is what you use when you're talking to your teacher. Thank you so much for helping me study for the upcoming novel test. A low register tone is something you use when you're talking to a friend or family member. It was so awesome hanging with you today studying for that test. So I used an exclamation point. The word awesome, hanging with you is kind of slang. You can tell the difference. This is for teacher, this is for friends. If the content of the email is on the negative side, like maybe you have a complaint, use a flattery sandwich approach. I call this the Oreo. So on the outside of the Oreo, you have 2 cookies, right? They're both flattery, positive comments. And then on the inside, you have the creamy middle, which normally is the best part, but this time it's going to be for like the request or the complaint, which is gently worded. We're kind about it, okay? So give your teacher a positive comment and then tell them what's bothering you and then give them another positive comment or be thankful for, the last one could be, thank you for listening to my concerns, okay? That way, and it works for everybody. You can email anybody that way. that maybe you're having a problem with. That way, it doesn't just sound like complaint and it wouldn't put them on the defensive. When you mix nice things with bad things, it makes people feel a little better about the bad things. Because, I mean, it shows them that you think of them in a positive way too, that you're not just negative towards them, if that makes sense. Ultimately, the way you email someone reflects on who you are as a person. Take your time and do it correctly so that people not only take you seriously, but also have mad respect for you. Okay, so that's the end of our presentation. What I want you to do now is stop the video, obviously, and go to Google Classroom, and under your classwork, find the question posted for today. Okay, it'll say 8/21, and then it'll be a question. And it's just kind of a little test over some of the things you learned. It's one multiple choice question. Choose your answer and submit it. So today we reached our objective, right? We learned etiquette tips. We learned a little bit about each other. And we have also gone over the lesson, and now you have an assignment. All right. So have a good weekend, and I will see you guys on Monday.